show where we review and analyze the news and also talk about issues affecting us as individuals, ranging from politics to education to health, security, and other topical stories. My name is Odili, and this morning on High Voltage, we'll be taking a look at the newspaper headlines and a top story for the day. Join us live in the studio by calling us on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. And you can also join us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, leave a comment, and share the video for others to be part of the conversation this morning. And please remember that when you do call or when you drop a comment, ensure that it is very clean and very civil. All right, so let's dive right into what we have for this morning. All right, the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party, and it is less than 24 hours before the party's scheduled governorship primary. So this isn't just a local story. This is a symptom of a broader challenges facing the People's Democratic Party nationally, all over the states. There's a lot of crisis going on in the party, and it raises questions about how the one-party dominance is shaping Nigerians' politics. Now back to Governor Adeleke. He formally submitted his resignation on 4th November, citing what he called an unresolved crisis at the national leadership level of the PDP. Yes, that was when he submitted, but it was made public yesterday that he has dumped the People's Democratic Party. All right, so on the what makes this particularly striking at is the timing, because his resignation came just hours before the governorship primary, throwing the Osun PDP into confusion. On one hand, the state chairman announced the suspension of the primary due to internal disputes. On the other, the National Secretariat insisted the election would go ahead as planned. So the clash exposes a deep divide within the party and raises doubts about its ability to manage internal conflicts effectively. So PDP is at the top, is at the point where it's dying. It's just slowly crippling. It will take a lot of work to revive the party back to where it was some years ago. Most of the leaders we had in PDP are now in APC, ADC, and other parties. So they keep leaving. And one of the things they keep telling us as the reason for defecting to other party is the internal crisis going on in PDP, going on in that party. But we all know there's more to it. We know that it's not just about this crisis going on. Because if they wanted to fix the party, they would have stayed. They would have stayed and worked together with other leaders to ensure that everything works out. Now let's go back to Osun State. The situation in the state mirrors a national pattern. Since losing the 2023 presidential election, the PDP has struggled to maintain cohesion. Many state chapters have been torn by factional battles. Many states have been torn by the factional battles, the forcing interventions by the National Working Committee in Rivers, in Edo, in Lagos. So despite these interventions, the stability remains very evasive. So in the Southwest, Adeleke's resignation follows a string of high-profile exits, including the former Ekiti governorship aspirant. So a lot of people are exiting the party. Yes, a lot of high-profile people are leaving the People's Democratic Party. The people that once held the party together, they are now going, they are forming new political parties. They are going to the ruling party. What does it mean for the People's Democratic Party ahead of the 2027 general election? What exactly does it mean? So we see that analysts, they note that a widening gap between the long-standing PDP factions and the newer blocs aligned with undermining the sitting governors, aligned with the sitting governors. And this split suggests the party is losing its grip in regions it once controlled. In most of the states it once controlled, the party is no longer in charge. The party is no longer controlling all the states. Few years ago, PDP controlled almost all the states in the country. But as it stands now, it's not the same story. It's not the same story going on. So the immediate effect in Osun State is very clear, that the primary that they were supposed to hold is now uncertain. State officials argue the conditions are very unworkable, and while the National Secretariat has yet to formally acknowledge Adeleke's resignation or adjust the primary schedule. So this uncertainty is more than procedural. It reflects the PDP's structural weakness. A party that cannot resolve leadership disputes at the state level raises serious questions about its capacity to govern and to contest elections effectively. So we are all waiting. We are waiting for 2027 to see what unfolds, to see how far PDP is going to come. Let's take a step back. The PDP now controls far fewer governorships than it did just a few years ago. After the recent defections, after the election losses, only a handful of states remain under its control, particularly in the southwest. Out of the 36 states we have in Nigeria, PDP now controls only 7 states. This is Adamawa State, Bauchi, Plateau State, Taraba, Zamfara, Oyo State, and we have Rivers State. Yes, we have Rivers State. So PDP now controls only 7 states out of 36 states, while APC has majority of them. And we have some states like Abia State that's controlled by Labour Party, and Anambra State controlled by APGA. Most of the other states controlled by APC. Go to the Senate. Go to the House of Assembly. Look at the majority, they are in APC. Majority of the senators, they are in APC. So a lot of people are moving, because what we see is that when your governor moves to one particular party, it feels like every other person backing the governor follows the governor to that particular party. So it leads to so many people being in APC, the ruling party. So now that PDP controls only 7 parties, it's a big downfall for them. It's a very big downfall. The ruling party has consolidated power in most states, edging Nigeria closer to what the political observers call a one-party state. We've talked about this, especially the period when the Enugu State governor defected to APC. At that period, there were lots of defections. And we see that the country is slowly heading to a one-party state. Just give it time, because this is not going to be the last defection. When some of these politicians see that nothing is working in PDP, they are going to defect. So we are still observing what is happening in the country. We still have 2026 before the election. A lot has happened in 1 year, and a lot will still happen in 2026. So we are looking at this because it has a very serious implication in democracy. It has a very serious implication. When political competition is limited, voters have fewer choices. Opposition voices are weakened, and the political debates risk becoming just one-sided. Everybody focusing on the ruling party, everybody focusing on the party with the majority. So it's really when we look ahead of all this, when we look ahead of 2027, we already seeing what is happening, the possibility of the ruling party coming back. Because when everybody is supporting, when everybody is defecting to that party, what do you expect? They're going to pull more crowds. That is exactly what is happening now. So this is it on the story on Adeleke and the defection from PDP and all the other defections we've been having. Because it's really a lot going on. For citizens, this is a moment of uncertainty, but it's also a moment of opportunity. I believe it is. Because as party structures evolve, there has to be emerging parties. There has to be opportunities, a chance to step in with fresh ideas and candidates who are willing to challenge the status quo. Who are willing to say that this is where I'm supposed to be, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to challenge the ruling party. I'm not going to make Nigeria tilt towards the one-party states. Yes, we have the former vice president, the Atiku Abubakar, yes, who is in ADC, who feels like a strong opposition to the ruling party. But we are still looking for others who are yet to declare their interests. We are still looking for them, and we are waiting. We are waiting for them to come out and declare what they want. So this is how far we can take on this. This is how much we can take on this, and we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we will take a look at the top stories on today's papers, and also we will take your reactions on what has been said to you so far, and also what will be said on the newspaper headlines. Don't go anywhere. This is High Voltage.
It's about to get lit. Welcome to the show and a presenter that won't stop giving it their all. Hi, my name is Ogio, your pilot one, and I'm passing the mic to the one that has current affairs in her palms.
Hello everyone, my name is Odili and I'm passing the mic to the judge and peacemaker in Volt FM Sports.
I am Godwin and I'm passing the mic to the Igbo culture expert giving us cultural gist.
Today we'll go your man Egemonte. I found Bantichinazo. Actually, may pass the mic to Funya Nade when he John Manobo Jembe Wilo.
What's up, my people? I go by the name Nonto with a magic voice, aka King of Badbella United, and I'm passing the mic to one person whether they agree for anything right. Look at all.
Hi, Volt family. My name is John, and I'm passing the mic to the driver. We know they collect fare, you know now.
Hi, neighbor. It's Jason here, and I'm passing the mic to the one that has the magic to heal your broken heart.
My name is Malaika, and I am passing the mic to you. Yes, you, for being part of
Volt 104.3 FM.
Welcome back to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, your weekday news analysis show, where we review and analyze the news, and also talk about the stories affecting us, ranging from politics to education to health and other topical stories making rounds in the country. Yes, the phone lines are opened on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. I'll take that again. 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. All right, and we are also live on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, leave a comment, and share the video for others to be part of the conversation. All right, so getting straight to the newspaper headlines. Majority of what I'm going to be reading will be coming from the Punch newspaper. All right, the 19 northern governors and the traditional rulers held a meeting yesterday and have called on the federal government for a 6-month suspension of mining across the region in order to audit licenses and curb illegal operations. So they believe the illegal operations are worsening the insecurity going on in the states. So they also announced plans to raise 228 billion naira to fight banditry, to fight all the terrorism going on in the northern states, with each of the states and its local governments contributing 1 billion naira monthly. So the leaders said that the fund will support joint operations, intelligence-driven interventions, and coordinated security response. Their decision is as a result of the recent school raids that left more than 500 students and the instructors, the residents, kidnapped and forced temporary closures in multiple states. So we all know this story that has happened recently in Kwara State, in Niger State, and in Kebbi State, and in most of the northern states. We all know the story of the banditry attacks going on. So this is the reason the northern governors, they held a meeting yesterday to talk on the insecurity going on in their states. So at the meeting in Kaduna, the northern leaders endorsed the state policing initiatives, reversing decades of opposition, and pledged full support for military efforts to eliminate insurgency. The governors highlighted that insecurity is fueled by underdevelopment, weak policing, and economic hardship. And I totally agree with them. The level of underdevelopment in the northern states is so alarming. There needs to be a mindset shift. They need to educate their people. Because now when you meet these people that are terrorizing the area, when you meet the bandits, they're going to tell you that they are more Muslim than those that are not attacking. They'll tell you that they are doing it for Muhammad. So there needs to be more education in those states. They need to develop the infrastructure, rehabilitate the things in the states. A lot of things needs to start working in the northern state. A lot of things needs to start working. So even the traditional rulers also were part of the meeting, and it was led by the Sultan of Sokoto, and he pledged collaboration and unity in tackling the insecurity, the poverty, and the social dislocation going on in the northern states. So the northern leaders want that if all this insecurity, the out of school children and all that is going on, if they are not addressed, then the future of the region remains at serious risk. So they've called on the federal government to stop the mining that is going on for 6 months, to stop it for 6 months, so that they can be able to focus on the insecurity going on in the country, in their states, and also to ensure that the state policing is put into effect. So every state will have its own police to be able to safeguard the people, to be able to protect the lives and properties of people around the states, so that people won't have to be running away from their home, from the places they call their home. So everything will be working out. I remember one of the time that one caller called and said that in Middle Belt, yes, I'm diverting, in Middle Belt, in Benue State, that most of them, the food basket of the nation, they are no longer able to produce the food because of the insecurity going on in the country, because of the farmer-herder clash. So they now have to run away from their farms, the disruption of crops and all that. So all this is causing the hardships going on in the country. So everybody, the leaders that we have, the governors, the traditional rulers, the federal government needs to come together and put an end to this insecurity going on in the country. So what do you think about the Northern, all that the Northern governors have said? Call us on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. All right, moving on to the next headline. President Bola Tinubu is set to appoint a new Minister of Defense this week, following the sudden resignation of Badaru Abubakar on health grounds. So the 63-year-old former Jigawa State Governor sent a letter of resignation dated December 1. That is yesterday, and it has been accepted by the president. A statement from the president's media office confirmed that Tinubu thanks Abubakar for his service and that the Senate will likely be informed of his successor later this week. Abubakar has served as the first minister since August 2023 during a period marked by rising insecurity across the country. So his departure comes as the administration implements new security measures, including the recruitment of 20,000 additional police officers, deployment of forest guards, and heightened protection for schools and religious organizations. So hours before the announcement, President Tinubu met privately with the retired Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, fueling the speculation over the choice of the next defense minister. The meeting, which took place at the State House, was Musa's first public engagement since retiring in October. So this move has led people to think that this might be the next Minister of Defense for Nigeria. So we are waiting. We are waiting to see who our next Minister of Defense will be. Maybe it will be recycled to a familiar person. Who knows? All right, moving on. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has revealed that the federal government is receiving international support in tackling insurgency and rescuing abducted students. Speaking on Monday at St. Mary Catholic School in Niger State, where 265 students and instructors were recently kidnapped, Ribadu assured parents that the children are safe and will return soon. He said countries including the United States, the United Kingdom, and France are aiding Nigeria to end the decades of violent attacks. You know, that is a very good one. Recall that last week the president sent a high-level Nigerian delegation led by Ribadu to the United States to strengthen the collaboration with them in addressing the security challenges in Nigeria. So I believe this is a welcome development that we all need in the country. We've all said that if the federal government cannot tackle the issue of insecurity on their own, they should involve international countries, the foreign countries, to come and aid in solving the issue of insecurity that is going on in the country. So this news of the US, the United Kingdom, and France aiding Nigeria to end the decades of violent attacks is a very good one. So now back to the meeting at the secondary school. Ribadu noted that the president had suspended his schedule to focus on the crisis. He said that they accept the responsibility and the duty to protect the citizens and promise to strengthen security and coordinated responses in the affected areas. So let us know what you think about the headlines, and also about before we went on a break, we talked about the defection of the Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, who has defected from the People's Democratic Party, citing the internal crisis going on in the party. Let us know what you think. Drop your comments on our YouTube channel on High Voltage News, and also call us into the studio on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. Call us and let us know what you think about the headlines that has been read to you. All right, still on the newspaper headlines. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has warned that it will resume a total and indefinite strike if the federal government fails to implement agreed demands within 4 weeks. So this announcement came after the National Association of Resident Doctors Extraordinary National Executive Council meeting on Monday. So the strike had been suspended on Saturday after 29 days of industrial action, following the signing of an MOU with the government. And the MOU gives the government 4 weeks to meet the association's demands. So the Association of Resident Doctors, they highlighted that progress has been made on the salary arrears, the allowances, the reinstatement of 5 disengaged doctors in Lokoja. There has been progress on that so far. Meanwhile, the workload and the call hour policy are being reviewed, and a task force has been set up to address the manpower shortages and the engagements. So there has been a call to recruit more health workers into the system so they don't have to overwork themselves or overstretch themselves. So yes, all the organizations, all the unions need more hands, because few persons cannot attend to the millions of people we have in the country. So we need a lot of them. There has to be recruitment, and they have to avoid all these strikes, because even some of those in school, we move from ASU strike, from one strike to the other, and it delays their graduation. So the government needs to fasten up the arrangement that they have with the resident doctors, because we do not want more strikes. We do not want more doctors going on strike and leaving the patients stranded. We don't want empty hospitals in the country. So the federal government needs to ensure that they do what they are supposed to do. All right, so the association said that outstanding issues, including the specialist allowances, the promotion arrears, the infrastructure deficits, and pending payments in multiple teaching hospitals must be resolved within the set time frame. And this is the 4 weeks that was signed yesterday. So everything needs to be resolved within 4 weeks. So whatever the government, the speed that the government uses will depend whether the resident doctors will go on another strike or not. So failures to comply, they say, will trigger a total, indefinite, and comprehensive strike. So the Executive Council also resolved that a central task force will monitor duty hours, locum policy, and one-to-one replacement of staff, while urging full and immediate implementation of all remaining agreements. All right, these are the major stories on the papers. Let's see if there are more stories on the newspaper headlines. All right, on the Daily Independent newspaper, PDP national leadership, states give conflicting notices on Osun 2026 Guba primary. Yes, we've talked about this. the different people coming out to say that they are going to cancel the primary, and another saying that they are going to go ahead with the election because of the defection of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke. So it has caused a lot of confusion in the party, in Osun State Party. It has caused a lot of confusion. All right, next on the Daily Independent. Agric, ICT, financial services boost Nigerian economy in Q3. Millions of Nigerian drivers at risk due to fairly used tires. Then NUPRC projects $10 billion investment as licensing round opens. Remember, you can join the conversation on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. Join us and let us know what you think about all that we have said so far. What is your opinion? What is your contribution to what is going on in the country? All right, still on the Daily Independent. Governor Peter Mbah launches high-tech drones equipment to boost security. Nigeria grants asylum to Guinea-Bissau opposition candidates after coup. Okay. On terrorism, US, France, UK providing support to Nigeria, Ribadu says. All right, Nigeria's oil output edges up, still misses ambitious targets. And on the Nation newspaper, appeal court did not overturn Nestor FBN Quest ruling. Defense Minister Badaru resigns. Court of Appeal grants interim restorative orders, reversing judgment obtained by Nestor. That is all we have on the Nation newspaper. And on the Punch newspaper, we see Tinubu plans replacement as defense minister resigns. Abductors surge. Northern governors demand mining suspension. Unveil 228 billion naira security fund. And again on the Punch newspaper, Court of Appeal grants interim restorative orders, reversing judgment procured by Nestor. And we see students protest religious inequality at Gombe University. There's faith divide widens. Students protest religious inequality at Gombe State University. Okay, so there's been a lot of division between the Catholic and also the Christians and the Muslims. So there's a lot of divisions going on between the two religious organizations, and people are protesting it. The Gombe State, the students are protesting this, that it is not the right thing. They're supposed to focus on everybody as one and not supporting one part and not supporting the other. So they have to protest the whole thing. And we need to come to a point where the government, where Nigeria accepts everyone as one. I'm not saying that this one is a Christian or this one is a Muslim, and because of that, some opportunities will not get to this particular set of persons. Because while Nigeria is still talking on the designation of the country of particular concern, the Christian genocide claim that has been going on in the country, a lot of people are still facing criticism for the particular religion they belong to. A group of persons are not treated right, believe they are not treated right in the country, while some particular group of persons are treated better than the rest. So it's raising a lot of concern. It's sparking reactions from the citizens of Nigeria. Even the students are facing it in the states where they are. They are facing the division. So we need to come to the point where we are really a nation, where everybody comes together and we are really doing working together to ensure that the insecurity, the things we want, working for the country, really works very well. Because it starts from one person. It starts with everybody coming together and not just one group of persons advocating for this or advocating for that. It needs the totality of everybody in the country coming together to ensure that things are working rightly in Nigeria. So these are the top stories on today's papers. These are the stories on today's papers. We've talked about the resident doctors going on strike if the federal government fails to meet up their demands. And we join the resident doctors to call on the federal government to speed up whatever it is that they need to do to ensure that our doctors do not go on strike again. And yesterday we read about ASU. So it's from one union to the other, going on strike in the country. So why we don't want the resident doctors to go on strike, we also do not want any sector in Nigeria to go on any strike. Because at the end, it's affecting the ordinary Nigerian. Because when resident doctors goes on strike, who does it affect? The big people, the politicians can fly their people out of the country for treatment. But now we look at ourselves. We look at those who cannot afford to fly their family, their loved ones out of the country for treatment. What are they going to do if the hospitals shut down? What are they expected to do? So we really want a situation where when this union calls on the federal government, they react with speed and not wait for them to go on any industrial strike. Because they just came out from one on Saturday. They just came out from a 29-day strike on Saturday. Now these are federal hospitals shutting down. We're supposed to attend to the patients. Are we supposed to move to the private hospitals? And what about those who cannot afford it? So these are the things we look at when we ask the federal government to speed up whatever they are doing to ensure that none of these sectors, none of the unions goes on strike. And if we move it to ASU strike, who does it affect? Because we have most of our politicians, most of our leaders, they have their children, their loved ones studying outside the country. Most of them are outside the country. So reason most of these things lingers because they don't have people that are suffering the pain of staying at home, the pain of longer years in school. So the government needs to step up in their negotiation plans, whatever plan it is that they have with all the unions, with the ASU, with the resident doctors, whatever plan they have with them, they need to step it up. Because after this ultimatum, after these 4 weeks, and nothing is being done, they are going back to strike. And that is not what we want as a country. That is not what we want for our health sectors. So yes, we've talked about this, and also we talked about the National Security Advisor who visited the schools in Niger State, St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State, and told us that the country is now working with the US, with the United Kingdom, and with France to ensure that the decades of the insecurity going on in Nigeria will be fought. All this will come to an end. Just one day. Just one day, if every one of them come together, they are going to aid with the insurgency going on in the country. And also we've talked about the 19 northern state governors who have come together, and the traditional rulers as well, who came together yesterday to talk about the ways to strengthen the security in their states. Because we know all this, most of the things going on in the country is, most of the insecurity, most of the attacks, most of the banditry, terrorism going on in Nigeria is in the northern states. So they've come together asking the federal government to put an hold to the illegal mining that they believe that is leading to the insecurity going on in their states. And they've all come together agreeing to raise up to 228 billion naira to fight the insecurity going on, with the states, with the local government contributing 1 billion naira monthly. So it is good that our governors are taking the initiative to ensure that their people are safe, to ensure that their people are protected. It is very good. And they also called on the state policing, because we've all agreed that every state needs their own police for when there's an emergency, so that they can just, there will be swift response in case of emergency. Because we've been in the country where the police, there's no response. Some responses are very slow when we call upon the police. And we also see that the government has recruited 20,000 police officers. And all this is just to ensure that things are okay in the country, that lives are protected, that people in Nigeria are safe in their homes. I saw a video of a lady in the northern states saying that most of the Christians there cannot even sleep peacefully, because they're always believing that one person or the other is going to come and attack them. So we want to come to the point where this narrative is changed, where we no longer sit and say that yes, Nigeria is the country that is of a particular concern. We don't want to come to that point where we keep repeating the same things. We want to come to the point where we say that yes, the government has been able to tackle the issue of insecurity in the country. So this is what we have for you this morning. And because of time, this is where we are going to be ending it. You've been listening to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, your weekday news analysis show, where we review and analyze the news, and also talk about issues affecting us as individuals, ranging from politics to education to health and other topical stories. Thank you for being part of the program this morning. Join us again tomorrow by 9 a.m. Same year on Volt 104.3 FM. Join us for more of the news analysis, for more of the headlines, and for your voices to be heard. This has been High Voltage, and my name is Odili.
It's about to get lit.
Welcome to the show and a presenter that won't stop giving it their all.
Hi, my name is Ogio, your pilot one, and I'm passing the mic to the one that has current affairs in her palms.
Hello everyone, my name is Odili and I'm passing the mic to the judge and peacemaker in Volt FM Sports.
I am